there were three big scenes that stuck out in this one. And we'll start with the first one. So, it starts off with Matthew reconciling with his parents. He apologizes for what he's done to his family with his old job, and he reconciles with his dad and his mom, and it is one of the best scenes in the entire series. In my opinion, it's one of the best. And it's one of the, I guess it's one of the themes throughout the series, because it talks about forgiveness, which is one of the main reasons why Jesus came. So, it starts off with that, and then we go into Jesus wants the apostles, as he calls them for the first time in this episode, to go out into groups of 2 and start spreading the word, healing the sick, casting out demons to others in certain towns. And they're terrified, they have a lot of questions, they're concerned, but Jesus is saying, I want you to rely on God completely when you do this journey. I'm going to send you out 2 by 2. I will not be there with you, but not physically, but when you go out, I want you to rely on the Father. I don't want you to bring a bag. I don't want you to bring an extra change of clothes. No money. Nothing. Just start walking. That's it. And that was a really good scene, because it shows that when you are called to, at least this is what I got out of it, when you're called to be a disciple of Christ, it's not about you. It's not about how can I be comfortable doing this. You're not supposed to be comfortable doing this. It gets harder and harder as time goes on, as Jesus has said, and he explains that to them. And he's probably going to tell them again later on in the series. So that was a scene that really stuck out to me. Simon is thinking of starting a family with Eden. So that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Even though I have seen season 3, so I know where it goes. But it's going to be interesting going back over it and watching it again. So I'm sorry, I just saw season 4 for the first time of The Chosen. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I went to the theaters today because season 4 of The Chosen is just coming out now, and I just saw the first 3 episodes of season 4, so I'm a little, like, I really wish I was talking about that, but I'd have to watch those episodes one at a time again because there's just so much to talk about. And I didn't finish talking about season 3 yet, so one season at a time, one episode at a time. So those are the 2 things that stuck out to me in this episode. The third thing, and of course this is the big scene that everybody remembers, and that is when Jesus talks to little James, when they have that talk. And little James feels that because of his illness, he can't live up to what Jesus wants him to do, which is healing the sick, because he's thinking, how can I heal the sick when I am sick and I'm not even healed? How's that possible? And what is so well done about this scene is that it helps me, and I'm sure it helps a lot of others, it helps people realize that just because you're sick doesn't mean that you can't lose your faith. Like, okay, so one of the things that Jesus says is, he goes, little James, do you want to be healed? And he says, yes. He goes, okay. Based on the Father's will, I could heal you right now. I could do that. And you would have a great story to tell others, yes? But so many others can already tell that story. Think about you. The fact that you are not healed in the flesh, yet you still proclaim your faith in the Father. Think of how much joy that would bring to others. Think of that. The fact that you are suffering so much right now, yet you still preach and praise God. Do you have any idea what that's going to do to so many people that you see? It's going to show others that no matter how hard the world comes down on you, you still praise God. And that is what God is looking for in his messengers. This is what he's looking for. And granted, there's more to this scene that they talk about, but that was the big thing that I got from it. And I love how, I love that it's the scenes like that in the show, and I think this is why this show has done so well and will continue to do well, because it's becoming more and more popular by the day, that it's done in a way where certain scenes can speak to you. Like, okay, you might not relate to this, but you might be able to relate to this. It's got scenes like that, and that's why this show works so well. And there were dozens of scenes in the first 3 episodes of season 4 that I related to. And my dad. I went to see it with my dad. But I'll get to those in time. So this episode 2x2, this is the beginning of when Jesus names the 12 of them his apostles, because now we have all 12 in the group. And it ends with Matthew using his old house that he used to live in when he was a tax collector. He's using it for the women for housing, because Mary Magdalene, Rhema, and Tamara, I forget, because all the women are going to stay there, and while the apostles go out and start preaching the word. And Jesus is going to go back to Nazareth for a little while. So if you know the story, you kind of wonder where the next episode is going to go, if Jesus is walking back to Nazareth, his hometown. And yeah, so the next episode's going to be very interesting, especially considering the title of it. Because if you know the gospel, then you probably know where the next episode is going to go. But as far as this episode goes, yeah, I think those 3 scenes really stuck out to me, especially the scene between Jesus and little James. That's one of the big tearjerker scenes that so many people love. There's so many of those scenes like that in this show. That's why it resonates so well with people. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that episode. And I will see you guys in the next Chosen Vlog.